All right, I'll kick it off. I just want to say thank you to my staff. Really successful night, but a lot of countless hours. Travel go into getting players like this on our team. Want to thank our coaches for the partnership that we have, the alignment. Really good partnership in terms of getting all the draft prep done and the players lined up on our board, which is great. And then lastly, just want to thank Kevin and George for the resources that they put into this that allow us to do this job at a high level. Um, really excited. If you told me we would end up with both Caleb and Rome weeks ago, I would have said you were crazy. But there were two guys that obviously we were really excited to have. Not only are they really good players, but really good people as well that are going to continue to enhance our locker room and our team moving forward. So I'll open up to questions.
And when did you know that Caleb was going to be the answer for you guys, the direction you're going to go at quarterback?
Yeah, it's kind of two parts. Like when you watch the tape, it was easy to see the talent and wanted him on our team. But it was all about going through the process. So once we got through the 30 visit and spent time with him, got him with some of the guys on our team, it kind of felt good about the person, the culture fit. Knew at that point that he was going to help us, and we were ready to go.
Ryan, you guys had three breakout groups to determine receiver, tackle.
You know who won that competition.
I know now. Right. So I asked you the other day about, if you had an opportunity to pick. I don't know where Rome was on your personal board, but I said if you had the opportunity to pick the third receiver or maybe the top edge, top D tackle, how would you kind of go about that process? What made receiver be ultimately the answer for you?
I'd go back one step. It wasn't so much like a specific position group. The players, like I told you the other day, Ian and I sequenced the board out all the way across, and Rome was extremely high on that list. That's why I was nervous that he wasn't going to be there at 9. Our simulations, it was about a 50-50 shot if he was going to be there. But as it started to unfold, Ian had to hold me back from not trying to trade up and do something crazy to get him. But it ended up working out really well.
What was your knowledge on the front? I'm sorry. What was your knowledge on the front end of the workout that they had with Rome and Caleb with having DJ and Keenan out there?
Yeah, I found out. Was it 2 days ago that popped out, and I thought it was pretty cool. Still, at that point, I was nervous that wasn't gonna be able to work out, or we'd have to do something to make that work out. So when I found that out, it was cool, and obviously now that group's worked together, which is good.
Ryan, we
With
talked
Caleb, you see all the talent, that's obvious. You see what he brings to the table. On your end, how do you make sure that the Bears get this right?
Yeah, that's a great question. One, the infrastructure has to be there, and I think we've done that part to have the talent around our quarterback now. I think the other thing is it's going to be our entire organization is going to have to be on the same page on how we handle this, how we develop Caleb. But I'll also say that it's I think we have a really good approach with all of the players, and I think that's different than maybe it was in the past. The way that we take it really serious in terms of the development from a nutritional standpoint to performance, to mental skills, to how our coaches teach. Like I think we've made some really good strides there, but it's going to take everybody, and everyone's got to be on the same page. We got to adjust to strengths and weaknesses that the player has.
Ryan, Caleb said, I asked him a question about the Bears' history of quarterback and how it hasn't gone well. He said he had questions for you guys, and you guys were explained things to him. What were those conversations like?
I think he just kind of wanted to get a feel for everybody in the organization. What were we about in terms of like what's our direction, what's our North Star, how are we going to get there? And I think through our actions we've shown that. And history's the history. Like I'm kind of done talking about it. Like we go back so much all the time, and those days are over. So we're bringing players in here that want to really just change everything up and do things a different way. Obviously, we love our history here, but it hasn't been smooth recently, and it's time to change. So I feel like we got to stop going back all the time.
Ryan, what are the specific aspects of Rome's skill set that he was the number one receiver for you guys and that just really was a pull for you?
Man, I don't know where to start with that guy. first of all, human being. What a great guy. Work ethic. Um, just blue collar on the way he goes about things. But as a receiver, he can line anywhere, inside, outside. You love his ability to finish in contested situations. Plays strong, plays big. Run after catch is very good. He's a punt returner as well. Um, I mean, the kid's just put time in and got better and better every single year, and he's a winner. Can impact the game at any moment. If you're a quarterback and you're in doubt and you want to just go give a guy an opportunity to go finish, he's your guy. He's done that consistently.
Ryan, after 9, what was the rest of the night like for you guys? Was there any talk of maybe even trying to get back into the first round for a third pick? What was the rest of the night like after the 9th pick?
Every year there's like that feeling around like the teens or 20s. You're like, maybe we can get back in, but then you start looking at what it would take, and we would just do damage to ourselves for this year and for next year. We don't have a ton of draft capital this year to even really do that. So we just kind of took it all in, patient, kind of talked about our evaluations, look forward for tomorrow and see how that's going to play out, what positions are going to go, what opportunities we're going to have.
Ryan, for all that's gone.
Calls for number 9? Were you getting calls for number 9?
Yeah. There was a bunch of calls. We made calls. I think that's just kind of standard practice. Everyone just kind of get a feel for where everybody's at, but nothing like crazy.
Ryan, I know you had a different perspective when you watched Caleb in 2023. But I'm curious whether it was Oklahoma or his Heisman year. Did you happen to catch a game of his, or remember kind of the first time he caught your eye?
I was watching that Texas Oklahoma game for sure, and it was like, who is this kid? Some of those throws were ridiculous, and then you kind of track players as you go along, and watching Addison, what was it, last year or 2 years ago? You saw the talent.
Ryan, for all that's gone into this quarterback decision and leading up to this point, what's the feeling like for you to be at the finish line and to have Caleb as your quarterback?
Finish line of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels great. It's a guy that has all the tools, but it's going to take hard work. It's going to take getting into sync with his teammates. There's a long road ahead to develop the places where he needs to develop to win games and bring a championship here. But the beautiful thing is we have the right people here. We have the right teammates, and I feel really good about it.
Ryan, as it turned out, how many quarterbacks in this class were worth starting over with a rookie as opposed to keeping Justin?
Can you say that again for me? I'm sorry.
How many quarterbacks in this class were, in your mind, were worth starting over with a rookie as opposed to keeping Justin?
I don't know. I didn't even get down. Like, I didn't even think that way. It was Caleb, and obviously we watched the other players, but decided on Caleb.
Ryan,
What has that journey been like for you from 2022 to the group you have now, where the group you inherited and then some of the pitfalls along the way to end up with what you have now?
Yeah, I'm pumped. We've done good work. We've brought, again, it's one thing to bring talent in, but it's another to bring talent that, like, they're good people, and they're great teammates. I mean, the stuff that these guys have been doing over the last few weeks is incredible, just seeing how close everybody is. But yeah, we're looking today just what the roster looks like, and it's been a journey. I know it hasn't been that many years, but it feels like it's been a lot of years. So we've done good work, but obviously, like I said the other day, we got to win.
Ryan, how would you say Caleb and Shane have hit it off?
Mhm.
And what was his involvement in obviously it seems like it was an easy decision for you, but specifically he's gonna be directing him on what to do.
No, that's been really cool to see from going out there on the pro day, to hearing about some of the Zooms that they've done over the last few weeks, just getting to know each other, to talk ball. So that relationship had to be there, and that was part of our process as well.
Now that the first round is over, I'm sure there are some guys that you thought maybe would have went and that they've slid out of that first round. You often talk about flexibility. You guys got 2 seconds next year. Does that give you some flexibility to maybe see what's available in terms of moving up tomorrow?
Potentially. We'll see what the numbers look like, and just kind of gauge if that's something we need to do.
Is this a
Right.
strange feeling for you to have just the
the 4 picks, just having had double-digit picks, I think you had 10 last year, 11 the previous year, and now 4, does it feel empty at all? Like, I mean, I know that you're happy with what you did in the offseason and what you did with those picks, but it's gotta feel strange to only have 4 picks.
With 1 and 9, it doesn't feel that strange. It'll feel strange after the 4th round. Tomorrow I'll probably just go get a workout or something.
Brian, you said earlier about not wanting to do something crazy and moving up. I mean, when did you get the sense this evening that Rome was gonna be there at 9? Were there nerves up there thinking the dominoes were starting to fall the right way for you guys?
Yeah, there was definitely nerves. But there was a couple moves ahead of us. And then what we do, our pro staff does a really good job just identifying needs of different teams. Our analytics team puts kind of percentages of where guys can go. So we really tapped into that. And, once we got to like 7, we started feeling pretty good that he might make it.
Was there one pick there that made you feel like he was gonna fall your way, like something happened before you?
Not specifically, no.
Well, the Atlanta pick though, I mean, is that what you were expecting it?
No, I'm just happy it worked out that way.
Brian, how do you project Caleb's intuition for the position? You know, his instinct, like, sensing the blitz and manipulating defenses and just kind of willing a team over the finish line. How important is that to you, and how do you project that for a guy like him?
Yeah, the instincts are for any position are so important. We oftentimes look at things that you can coach and you can't coach. And when you have the things you can't coach and we can develop the other parts of it, you feel good about it. So he's got special instincts, awareness, especially in the pocket, to manipulate the pocket, get in and out of the pocket. Spatial feel for space is special. That's his special sauce. And then once we kind of speed things up and start to identify different coverages, and he's got to, there's an adjustment to an NFL offense that he's got to go through as well. So we're really excited to work with the tools that he has.
Right, when you zeroed in on how Caleb operates in the clutch, what kind of stood out to you in big moments?
Yeah, you look for poise, guys that the game kind of slows down for them in those critical moments, that they're capable of, making those special throws when you need them the most, especially down the stretch. That clutch part's really, really, really good. And you need that to win games. For how many close games we have in this league, you got to have guys that can finish, especially in like 2-minute drills and things like that.
What about just how he faced adversity? I know last year wasn't always easy for him.
Yeah, we had conversations about that, and I think it's the best thing that could have happened to him, because you're going to have that in the NFL. You're going to have the down weeks, months, and you're going to have to find a way to get through them. You're going to have to tap into the different resources to get through them, and get back to playing at a high standard. So I think going through that adversity helped him to continue to really find his edge, but also to recover when things don't go well.
Kind of going back to Jason's question about the journey of the receiver room. Where do you think along your own journey did you learn to kind of flush and move on from mistakes? Sometimes GM's kind of reluctant to acknowledge and then pivot from a mistake. You seem to be much more willing to say, that didn't really work, let's move on.
Yeah, I think I had mentioned this before. You all know I played with Matt Ryan, and then he was with the Falcons, and I called him for a question with the roster, and he just was like, the players always know. The locker room always know. So if you're going to tell them to put their egos away or take ownership of things, but then you got someone that's going to hold on to, a certain player longer just because they picked them and they don't want that on their record, the players know. And if you're going to be consistent, not a hypocrite, you need to do it the right way. So that always just kind of was in my head.
But quarterbacks have so much responsibility, on and off the field, right? With your teammates, with the media. What is it about Caleb that makes you think he's going to be able to handle that in this market with this team?
He's highly competitive, and he wants to be great, and he has passion for the game. If you have those, you're going to be fine in whatever environment that you're in. Obviously, through the ups and downs, you're going to have thick skin, and you're going to make some mistakes here or there, and it's just how you recover and do you learn from it. That's the big thing, and he's a guy that does learn from parts of his journey and parts of those adverse times and recover. So I think it'll be fun.
Seems like he's got like a comfort in his own skin too.
Yeah, he's got a lot of comfort in his own skin, which is good to see. You gotta have that. Thank you.
Thank you.